It's life-saving emergency medicine, as you've never seen it before.
The reports of a male who's in cardiac arrest, and without any action, the patient will die.
When survival can be measured in minutes,
All right, sorry, sweetheart.
seconds count.
He's fallen 30 foot from the roof. Oh, yeah. He's got a big cut to his head.
And what happens in the first critical hour can mean the difference between life and death.
We're just going to go to sleep. He's not looking particularly good.
This is the story of one real-life emergency, as it happened in one terrifying morning.
So it's significant damage to the inside of that car.
Minute by minute,
Arron, this medicine we're giving you now, it might make you feel a bit freaked out, but it will get rid of the pain, OK?
making difficult decisions
Is that left foot going to come out, or am I taking this left foot off?
in an impossible situation.
It very much looks like we're going to have to chop his foot off. So we kind of need everything very much prepared.
We'll be hearing firsthand from those on the front line, living it as they did, every step of the way.
Time is absolutely critical to these patients. The deteriorating trauma patients might only have hours or even minutes to live, and that time needs to be used wisely.
This is Helicopter ER, Critical Hour.
Ready to move, and off we go.
It's a cold October morning at the Yorkshire Air Ambulance Base. The team are preparing their kit and the helicopter for the day ahead.
On the HEMS team, we tend to work in pairs, so we have one paramedic that works in the front of the helicopter and one that works in the back, so medic 1 and medic 2.
Daz joined the team in 2017. His crewmate today is Al, a 20-year veteran of the ambulance service.
You never know when you come to work, what the day's going to bring. And the longer you do it, one of the things you learn is that bizarre stuff happens and you'll be called to make decisions that you'd never even dreamt of making. That's the nature of what we do.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
It's rush hour,
Is the patient conscious?
and calls are already flooding into ambulance control.
OK, tell me exactly what's happened.
It's a car accident, quite a bad car accident.
Right, OK, is the patient breathing?
Yes, I think so.
What's the address of the emergency?
It's the York Road up to Sutton on the Forest.
I'm going to ask you some questions now, it's not delaying any help. How many people are injured?
Certainly one. You might need a fire engine as well to get this guy out.
Right, OK. These questions don't delay anything. Is he awake?
Barely.
But he is awake?
Yes, he's screaming.
How old is he?
I don't know. I can't see. I can only hear him.
Is anybody trapped?
Yes.
Is he physically trapped, or is it just
Yes,
you don't want to move him?
he's physically trapped.
He's physically trapped. I've organised that help for him now. Stay on the line, I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
Help's on its way.
When you're sort of dispatched to a job, you actually start thinking about what you're going to do way before you arrive at scene. That's the time when the job really starts, because you're already sort of making plans.
Just watch him closely now. If he does become less awake and vomits, you would need to try and get him onto his side, or at least keep his airway clear, OK?
It's a bit like being a detective. You have to kind of assimilate bits of knowledge and try and piece stuff together to sort of formulate the plan of what you're going to do.
Flag down the ambulance, and if he does get worse before we get there, call back immediately on 999 for further instruction.
Any time we can spend beforehand, pre-planning, is time we don't have to spend on scene, and that all potentially benefits the patient.
Where are you thinking? Did you say LGI? If we go anywhere?
It'll be LGI. Yeah, LGI, yeah. He's in Walder. It's fairly close to York, but York's a trauma centre, not a major trauma centre.
Back at base,
Thank you very much for your day. Cheers, bye.
paramedic dispatcher Pete has news for the crew.
Just be aware, Brian White is also responding from home. ETA probably 15-15 minutes.
Roger, all received, mate, thanks.
Dr. Brian is a consultant anaesthetist who often flies with the team. He's racing to the scene from home.
So Brian's going to be there not long after us, isn't he? He's going to be there 50 minutes. By the time we've landed shut down, he's going to be pretty much there, isn't he?
Brian is a volunteer with Basics, a network of doctors who respond to emergencies in their spare time.
So I work in a rural community where there's pretty sparse cover at times because of simply the geography of it. And I got a call from the ambulance service, and if I can, I will go and attend to those.
Over there, blue lights, just to find out the nose about 1 o'clock there. Got those big wires on crossing over. 9-9, we've visual, we've seen, preparing to land them. What I'll do, Darren, is fly up the road and pick either the left-hand field or the right-hand field.
The grass one will be better for muddy feet.
Yeah, and I think both of them have got hedges.
Road traffic accidents are a really good example of where you can get a lot of information about what's happened before you actually make contact with the patient.
The accident's actually past the first set of blue lights and up by the fire engine is, I think.
Just from looking at the type of road, whether there's bends, trees, wet surface.
Pilot Andy needs to quickly get the crew on the ground.
I'm going to go for the non-muddy field. I honestly think the hedges are much of a muchness.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to bring a patient through there if we needed to.
I'll put it down here.
Yeah, we can always relocate if we need to. We can go to the road, to be honest.
Yes, we could. All right, coming down there now. That's within limits. You're up there out on the right.
It's 7:55 a.m. The team knows that following a traumatic injury, the first hour for a patient is the most critical in increasing their chances of survival. This critical hour began 28 minutes ago.
On this particular morning, the scene sort of unfolded and you could see the wreckage of a car. And I remember thinking that it was a big Jaguar XJ, and this sort of car generally be associated with middle-aged men. So I was quite surprised to find that the patient was only quite young.
Hiya, how are we doing?
It appears the driver lost control on a fuel spill on a wet stretch of road and skidded into a ditch before colliding with a concrete post.
Arron is a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
He's trapped by his legs.
Yeah.
It's impossible upper bilateral femur.
Okay, how are we doing pain-wise?
He is about an 8 out of 10, but I've given him 10 now on morphine.
Right, okay.
His pump size is 140. 182 will
114, did you say? Or 140? 140.
Tachycardia is a rapid heartbeat.
When you find a patient with a rapid heart rate, a fast pulse, particularly in a traumatic patient, that can be an indication of blood loss. And that blood could be obvious. It might be that there's blood all over the scene, or it could be much more insidious. Without seeing anything on the outside, into your chest or your abdomen or your pelvis, you can lose enough blood to put you into cardiac arrest.
Arron, you all right? Just keep your head still, buddy. How are you doing now? Your legs, did it hurt?
Yeah.
Does it hurt anywhere else, kid? You broke your leg. All right, sunshine, don't worry. We'll get you out, get you to hospital.
Dr. Brian has now arrived on scene and is joining the team.
When I got there, it wasn't carnage, but you could see there was a huge amount of energy being transferred into this car. It was deformed. Part of the car underneath was up into the underside of the car. It was lying on its edge in a gully, so access to it was very difficult. And it seemed to have skidded about maybe 30 or 40 metres.
It's pretty significant damage to the inside of that car.
What did he hit the tree, or why is it going like that?
And the car was a mess.
I think we know, do we?
His pelvis, femurs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fire Officer Andy Creasy and his crews are trying to work out how they can free Arron.
I thought this is just going to be a fairly straightforward rescue. We'll take the roof off and then we'll remove Arron. It was only when I saw the amount of intrusion that we realised that this was going to be a long and protracted incident that was going to take a lot of our techniques to recover that casualty.
Just to give you a heads up, this isn't going to be a really quick one.
Yeah, I understand.
Legs entrapped, we're going to have to do it bit by bit, so we're going to have to take a piece out and see what we've got.
Arron was trapped quite severely in this vehicle.
Having a look in, I could not see where his legs were going. The car seemed to have moulded around them. The gearbox was actually sitting on top of his legs.
The mechanism was quite significant, so there was a lot of damage to the front end of the car, which straight away thinks, that damage and that force has gone somewhere. Potentially that's into both of Arron's legs and further up the body into his pelvis and potentially back as well. We could see both his femurs, and we thought one of them was potentially broken just on a visual inspection, but we couldn't see his lower legs.
Yeah, so just a quick initial update. This gentleman's strapped in the car, driving seat, one going to be working on this minute.
The average male holds roughly about 5 litres of blood in the body. So if you've got a fracture to your either pelvis or femur, or what we call a catastrophic bleed, there is a potential to lose your whole blood volume into one of those spaces.
It's tachy 140, bilateral femurs, he thinks. I haven't had a look at him yet. He's had some morphine, he's had some TXA.
When you've got somebody that's trapped in a vehicle, there's some things that you want to just tick off in your head. So first of all, are they alert? If they are alert, that's a good sign. You know, that means they've at least initially survived what's happened. But the alert patients are the ones with the most to lose, you know, and just because they're alert doesn't mean that they're not poorly.
Just get this blanket round you, buddy, all right?
It's nearly an hour since his accident, and Arron's chances of survival are getting slimmer with every minute.
Arron was in agony, and we were just really mindful that Arron's condition should deteriorate. And I say should because the energy involved in that crash was immense.
And what was also concerning was we wouldn't be able to rapidly extricate him from the vehicle. So if he did take a big turn for the worse, it was going to be very difficult to treat him. And this was a kind of fairly grave concern.
Andy, we will be transporting this chap.
On a country road near York, paramedics Daz and Al and Dr. Brian are fighting to save a driver trapped in his wrecked car.
The update is GCS 15, tachycardic 140.
Arron's heart is beating very fast. This could mean that somewhere he is losing blood.
Bilateral femurs, she thinks. He's had some morphine, he's had some TXA.
It's 40 minutes into the rescue operation, and freeing him is taking time he may not have.
It's really difficult when you arrive on scene seeing somebody suffering, trapped in pain and in agony, and knowing that you can't do much until they're extricated.
Let's get Flexel on and warming blanket and everything ready, so when he comes out, he can go straight into the Flexel.
The longer Arron was trapped, the more concerned I was getting. He obviously wasn't bleeding torrentially, otherwise he would have got a lot worse very quickly, but even a slow ooze, a slow bleed, would have translated into Arron eventually suffering a cardiac arrest.
I used to have a Jag a bit like this. The V8, is it, Arron?
It was.
It was, probably. Well, it still is somewhere. There's still an engine under there somewhere, buddy.
There's a real paradox when you're treating patients between, on the one hand, you need to be detached, clinically focused, make the right decisions for the patient. But at the same time, that patient's probably having the worst day of their lives.
Don't worry about your car, buddy. You're insured, aren't you?
That's my fucking dream car.
It's all right. We can buy another one. Your insurance will pay for a new one. Don't worry about it. That's what we have insurance for.
Oh, my leg's broken as well.
But we're going to give you something in a minute for your leg.
In those moments, you know, they probably need the mum, but unfortunately that's not going to be me. But I am a dad, so and I can really understand. I can really understand that, you know, that the feeling of loneliness and helplessness.
Arron, this medicine we're giving you now, it's called ketamine, okay? You might have heard of it. It's quite strong.
Ketamine is a powerful tranquilizer. It is also a powerful drug that takes away pain. It's a powerful drug that makes people forget.
It might make you feel a bit freaked out, but it will get rid of the pain, okay? You understand, buddy? So just try and relax, okay?
I didn't want Arron to remember anything of what was going on. He was trapped in a car. He was really, really uncomfortable, in severe pain, and what we were going to do was make that worse in extricating him and moving his legs.
Firefighters are doing their best to prise apart the twisted metal trapping Arron's legs, but are making little progress.
We're going to go for full roof removal, give us full access.
All right.
We're going to start seeing what we've got in a bit more here. It's just due to that entrapment and the way he's on that post, it's not going to be something we can do instantly.
Okay.
This particular vehicle was strong and well built, and in a number of situations that would have been a real benefit to us to use the strength of that vehicle to recover the casualty. But unfortunately, due to the severity of the impact, it made it a lot more difficult because the little bits of metal that we were trying to move were a lot tougher and put a lot more stress and strain on the equipment.
They're going to take the roof off, so in an ideal world I'd want him out and in the helicopter now and on his way to Leeds. The only way he's easily going to come out is going to be backwards.
You feel the pressure of time moving but nothing happening, and that's the tricky thing. If things are happening and things moving forward, things improving, time's okay. But it's when you're stuck and you realise that time is life and that's passing at it and you can't stop time. Things need to keep going and things need to keep progressing. If they don't, time comes up and bites you.
Brian and the team have no choice but to wait patiently for the fire crew to find a way to free Arron. Paramedic Daz uses the time to have the helicopter repositioned. He knows that every precious minute will count once Arron is freed.
Yeah, but obviously if we do fly, we'll be flying to leave, so we can make sure that LGI is up and moving.
It's really important to have sort of one person stood back with an overview. So my job on scene is liaising with our air desk and communication centre, passing right information back about patient condition, about what resources we might need on scene, and also looking into sort of forward care.
I would say at least 3/4 of an hour.
Dr. Bryan knows that to save Arron's life, they will need to get him out of the car, by whatever means necessary.
Let's go tits up, what are we going to do?
I think they're going as fast as they can, so...
A bit of rest now, off of his legs.
I don't know what we're going to do in answer to that. Because he's only going to come out as fast as he's going to come out. And we can't do CPR with him as he is, can we?
There felt a great deal of pressure at this point because Arron had been in the vehicle for quite a long time now. The longer a casualty is in a vehicle, the more impact that's going to have.
Hey Arron, put these on. Just keep your eyes protected.
At last, firefighters are making progress. This will allow the medical team to get closer to their patient.
How are we doing, Arron?
We'll get some shots.
Is that painkiller working? Arron, how's that painkiller? Is it working? Do you feel a bit spaced out, buddy? Okay, that's a good thing.
Some of the Jaguar's bodywork is yielding, but Arron's legs remain pinned by the steel gearbox.
So that one looks broken. Not sure about this one yet. And there's going to be tib-fib fractures as well as that comes out.
You all right, Arron? Yeah, good lad.
I'm not sure how well it always works, but I try to kind of be as relaxed as I can with patients and try and sort of communicate a sense that stuff's going to be okay. And it's not always going to be okay. But I think in that moment, that's a kind of lie that I'm happy to propagate, because I think the last thing you need when things are bad is to be told they're really bad. How's his pulse? Still got a radial. Is it still 140-ish?
Ketamine, a powerful painkiller, means Arron is unaware of what is happening and how critical his condition is. Bryan must remain patient whilst the fire crews continue to work out the complicated puzzle they face.
I suppose this is the problem with well-built cars.
You know, 15 years ago, this is what they drive the Prime Minister around in. You know, so these are about as well built as you get.
In the fire service, we use hydraulic cutting equipment, most commonly known in the wider community as the jaws of life. That particular set of equipment can be used for crushing metal with an immense amount of force, with numerous tons of pressure.
But Arron's classic Jag is proving too much, even for the jaws of life.
A number of incidents we would go to, we would take large parts of the vehicle off, so we would take doors, we would take sides out of vehicles, which are fairly straightforward to remove, and in most cases they would open up enough room for us to then release the casualty. This particular incident, due to the way that the vehicle was impacted, that wasn't going to be the case. We had to then try and piece by piece remove parts of that vehicle so we could actually get in and get a better view of that casualty.
How are you doing for the pain, Arron? Is it still sore? Give him another 10. He's had 40 of ketamine so far.
I was really concerned for Arron's condition. 1, blood loss, and 2, temperature. It was a cold day. We were trying our best to keep him warm, but he was exposed to the elements for that period of time and his temperature would be decreasing. And that can be fatal in itself.
The fight to free Arron is preventing Al getting as close to his patient as he'd like.
Have you got kids? Have you used one of these? Yeah. So it needs to go right into his ear, then press that button until it beeps. Okay?
There's a kind of hidden contract, I think, between the emergency responders. You come to rely on people who you don't know, which is a really unusual situation. I can't think of many other aspects of life where you'd completely rely on the abilities of strangers in that way.
We've probably got the space.
Great stuff.
Now, problem is...
Some blood in his ear as well there. Yeah.
All right.
Blood in his right ear.
If a patient's bleeding from inside their ear, that can be a sign of a severe head injury. So we're always going to be quite concerned about blood coming out of ears. and especially if it looks like the patient might have bumped their head.
It's 90 minutes since the collision, and the team would now usually have their patient in hospital. But the car continues to frustrate firefighters, and Dr. Brian is being forced to consider all his options.
In the blink of an eye, a patient can deteriorate in front of you for lots of different reasons. It could be that they've suddenly bled from a huge blood vessel within their body that was holding back a clot. It could be that something's happened inside their head and they've had a bleed. In the blink of an eye, things can turn from, oh, everything's okay, to, oh God, this patient needs to get out of the car right now.
It feels quite weak at his radial.
It said 100 over 140.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half since 22-year-old Arron lost control of his classic Jag on a fuel-covered road. The car came to rest in a ditch and collided with a concrete post. The impact was so severe that the gearbox and engine were forced into the front of the footwell, trapping his legs.
So it looks like he's got 2 fractured femurs, 2 fractured tib fib, and he's got a weak radial. Where are you going to be going with him, please? We just need them to get him out, really. Yeah.
Working against the clock is something that always plays on your mind, really, especially with trauma jobs, and it's the things that you can't control. So blood loss is one of those things. If we can see it, so we can see it coming out of the body, we might be able to do something about it, but it's that internal blood loss where we can't see where the bleed is. In a pre-hospital setting, that's really frustrating.
Blood's just starting to come out the top of his right boot.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of blood trickling out. He's got an open fracture of his left leg, by the looks of it. Probably some fracture to his right foot as well. Guys, get a couple of tourniquets ready. Just ready.
A tourniquet is a medical device, and essentially what it does is it stops blood flow past the point that you put it on. So we might, in some circumstances, put a tourniquet on but not tighten it up. And we may do that for things like preparing for an amputation.
Is that what? I think it's an open fracture. I can't tell whether it's bone or jeans, but it's got to be open in it, for sure. There's blood coming out of his shoe on the other side as well, so he's going to have at least one open fracture, isn't he?
At last, Arron's legs are clearly visible, but the team are extremely concerned by what they see.
We quite often use the phrase time critical when we're talking about trauma patients, and it's not a misplaced phrase. Time is absolutely critical to these patients. When you've got a deteriorating trauma patient, they might only have hours or even minutes to live. And a situation where we're unable to move forward with the patient can be quite frustrating because you can see those vital minutes ticking away, you know, and that could be everything for that patient.
Brian makes the difficult decision to risk moving Arron's legs.
Try and drag his right foot out. Again.
Okay.
You grab his jeans or even just pull it towards me.
Okay.
When you're ready, just go.
Right, we've got that out.
Right,
the foot looks good. The tib fib doesn't look massively damaged.
Doesn't really help us with the left side, though, does it?
No.
It's his rescuer's first breakthrough, but his left leg remains trapped. It's feared Arron's condition is deteriorating.
We've got the right one out.
Right.
Might have to cut the other foot off.
Who's the seat commander here, fire-wise? Is that left foot going to come out, or am I taking his left foot off?
Make that gap out bigger.
We'll know very soon if we can just try.
As a doctor, when you're in a situation such as this and you have to save someone's life, inside you might be a bit panicky. Outside it's nice and calm demeanour. The concerns I had for Arron were really dramatic. I was concerned about his life, him dying in front of us. I was concerned about Arron losing his leg.
Obviously, I'll need your advice when this foot comes off. But we'll just give him another few minutes during this bit to see what happens, okay?
Yeah.
Time is running out. Firefighters have just minutes to free Arron before the medical team are forced to make a life-changing decision for him.
Our priority was to get him out as quickly and as safely as we could, but it was evident that that wasn't going to be the case.
It's just the way that the metal's impacted on the side of his legs, so we're going to have to try and see if we can spread that apart.
There There was a number of conversations between myself and the medical team, which really led us to understand that time was now beginning to run short. The crews really stepped up a level, and I'd noticed a marked difference in the determination of the fire crews at this point.
Do you think his leg will come out of that sort of? Maybe.
Might take a bit of pulling. We can ram this up again, Steve.
Yeah, let's get that.
The fire team use a hydraulic ram to try and prise the car open.
Where did we ram it before, on here?
It was...
Yeah, it's right up there. Yeah. Right, up then, lad.
The team uses every precious second to continue to peel the metal away from Arron's leg. If they can't free him, the medical team will have no choice but to make some very difficult decisions.
In an ideal world, paramedics want to be detached, completely objective, and think clinically and in a focused way when it comes to making decisions about what to do with really poorly patients.
So it looks like it goes that way. Brian, what's happened there is it's bent there, and then the leg stroke foot's going back under that way.
But that's not always easy, especially when you have a connection with the patient. And that could have easily been me, you know, in my Jag kind of 20 years ago. And that makes those decisions a lot harder because you feel that connection.
So they're going to try and see if they can push this transmission tunnel.
The fire crews start to reveal a worrying sight.
So his leg's broken just above the ankle and then goes that way back into the middle of the car again. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to come out easily.
In a pre-hospital setting, life over limb is going to be a patient that we think is potentially going to go into cardiac arrest if we don't do something now.
We just keep opening, moving the gearbox away, peeling it away, just nice and steady.
We're presented with a really difficult choice with Arron.
Problem is now, every time that might create the speed.
Moves that way,
it's just getting up to just try and move one, cut a bit.
We could continue to try and free him, but there's always the possibility that he could go into cardiac arrest at any time. And if that was to happen, it would be very, very difficult to treat, and it's likely that he would die.
How are we doing? We still got good radial?
The other choice is also pretty drastic, and that's to free him from the vehicle by amputating his foot.
Try and keep that mask on for me, Arron. Good lad.
It's brutal, scary, frightening, difficult, emotionally really challenging, but it's a decision that has to be made. You have to take a breath and rationally decide whether or not this is the right thing to do to save this person's life.
So it very much looks like we're going to have to chop his foot off. So can you guys assist Daz? We're just getting stuff ready, making sure everything, he'll sort of liaise with you, but we kind of need everything very much prepared so that once it happens, very quickly we're getting packaged and out and gone.
The decision to amputate a limb is going to affect that person's quality of life, you know, past that point. And I think in a case like Arron's, really young lad, rest of his life in front of him, you know, as a paramedic, I'm putting myself in his position, and it's really, really difficult, and you almost have to block that out.
How do I separate Brian from being a doctor? You can't do that. You're both at the same time. You're a human being with emotions, thoughts. You're a doctor with skills and decision-making. Decision-making comes with experience. It comes with grey hairs. It comes with time spent dealing with incidents such as this.
Brian wants to amputate as close to the injury as possible in order to prevent any further disability for Arron than is absolutely necessary.
Brian, whereabouts are we going to go? Halfway between. Yeah. Because we need to be able to get under, don't we, all the way around.
One of the things you have to think about is how you're going to amputate somebody's limb. One is with a special saw, looks a bit like braided wire.
But there's a problem. There's no room to insert a scalpel or the specialist saw around Arron's leg. The team must devise a new plan.
I can picture this incident and still run through it almost minute by minute and decision by decision. The impact of something like this isn't just on the day. The impact of something like this lasts with you for potentially the rest of your life. Not just your life, but the life of the individual who you're caring for. Once you've made that decision, technically it's not that tricky. It may sound awful, but the biggest dilemma is deciding how to do it.
The doctor approached me and asked me a question that I've never been asked ever in my career.
The fire brigade carry their jaws of life.
Effectively, the doctor was asking me if we could use the jaws of life to implement an amputation of Arron's foot.
You've got a small ramp. We've got a small ramp and we've got a bigger ramp than what you've got on pumps.
In a roadside ditch near York, rescue teams are in a desperate fight to free a young driver from his crumpled car.
Come on, let's get on with it. Right, try that.
22-year-old Arron has been trapped for nearly 2 hours. He is pinned by his left leg, and any hope of freeing it is fading.
I don't think it's going to come out, is it?
There's only one option left, but it's far from routine.
There's a massive difference between an inexperienced pre-hospital team performing a first-time amputation in a ditch as opposed to being done by a surgeon with all the correct tools. It's like getting your local decorator to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. The end result will be a painted ceiling, but you'd be better off getting Michelangelo to do it.
Oh. Let's get the warming blanket in. Have we got a blizzard bag as well?
There's no room to use a saw to carry out the amputation, so firefighters have been asked to use their hydraulic cutters instead.
Fire have equipment with them that enables you to extricate people from cars, and these include the jaws of life, which are a big pair of hydraulic jaws that close with enormous force on objects and will cut through them. They're used to cut people out of cars. The pillars you see at the side of a car attaching it to the roof, they cut through those like they're like butter.
Only the fire crew can operate the jaws of life. They're used to slicing through metal, but using cutters to sever a limb is a daunting task they've never tried before.
I explained to them that Arron would be anaesthetised, he wouldn't feel anything. He would be covered up so they wouldn't see Arron. All they would see was the part of his body where I would want them to apply the jaws of life and cut through, and then they would be removed from the scene. The difficulty is relationships. A fireman on scene will have seen Arron and have had an instant relationship with him. So unfortunately what you have to try and do is remove that. So you're detaching them from the scene. Really very difficult, but it needs to be done to save someone's life.
Arron? Right, buddy.
Let that off.
We had some common ground, Arron and I, and it kind of revolved around the car a lot. So we had quite a good rapport, and that was nice because we kind of hit it off and we had that connection, and I think that made it easier for both of us in terms of what was to come.
It's a cold day. Arron has been trapped in the open for 2¼ hours. Al is trying to keep him warm.
Just get this warm thing on your chest, all right, buddy?
We'll try this again as well. Taking it down. If we can get some sort of more purchase on this, that's where we need to go with that, isn't it?
Firefighters are using a hydraulic ram in a final effort to free their patient. If this fails, Brian will have no other choice than to instruct them to amputate.
It's all mashed in with the carpet of the car.
But all efforts are failing.
Well, the treatment that's necessary is to do something drastic and something different that you've not done before, like a pre-hospital amputation. It'd be very easy to talk yourself out of that. It sounds a little ruthless, but I think by setting that deadline, that allows everybody to completely understand where we're going and completely understand what the plan is. And I think once you've said that, once you've put it out there, that focuses everybody on the job in hand. Whereas I think if you just said, oh, we'll see how we get on, I don't think you'd ever do it. I think the patient would just die because you just keep talking yourself out of it.
This procedure is so unusual. The more medical knowledge there is on scene, the better. Daz is talking to Helimed 98, which is on its way to the incident. On board is another doctor. When he arrives, he can assist Brian.
Daz, 15 minutes.
It's time to ready the hydraulic cutters. Fire Officer Andy knows what they're capable of.
The Jaws of Life is definitely not a precision tool. It's designed to cut through real rigid, solid, hard metals. It's not designed in a way to be cutting human flesh. It will very easily cut through the human flesh though, however, it wouldn't just be a clean cut. And the pressure at that point on myself to try and make that decision whether I'm going to change somebody's life forever by agreeing to use our equipment for something that it wasn't intended for was a really difficult decision to make.
I don't want to make a decision to say yes, suit move his foot without trying everything we possibly can.
There are just 4 minutes to go to the second doctor's arrival and amputation.
We've got minutes left. If we don't achieve this rescue within a time frame, then that decision of using the equipment for the amputation is going to have to be taken.
In order to save as much of Arron's leg as possible, and with time against him, Brian has no choice but to conclude that the jaws of life are indeed the best option.
We'd resigned ourselves to the fact that we were going to have to cut Arron's foot.
We had identified the fire crew that were going to do it, identified the equipment, got everything ready behind us, counting down the clock.
I'm not a very religious person, but sometimes miracles do seem to just happen.
It moved a bit then. See?
We had a period of minutes to go.
It's definitely moving.
Suddenly, almost magically, stuff just started to move.
Just be aware the car's moving towards you, buddy, as that happens, yeah? All right.
The techniques that they were using suddenly began to work, and the bits of the car started to separate.
And there was a shout from the car.
Fire brigade. And it very quickly became apparent that there was a good chance that we were going to be able to get Arron's leg free.
Right.
It's going to come out.
It's
going to come out, that now.
That was quite a relief, I can tell you, because I don't think any of us were really looking forward to being involved in that procedure.
I think it's going to come out now.
Felt enormous relief for everyone on scene, but most of all relief for Arron.
Let's have all the tools that we can get out of the way.
Not one of those firefighters during that rescue wavered or gave up.
Let's just shift everything to one side.
I think everyone understood that we'd done the very best that we could for Arron, and the fact that I could stand there and tell the crew how proud I was as an incident commander and how well they'd done their job, I was really happy.
Okay, what's next?
Just get the board in next to him, we'll just transfer him across onto the board. Whichever way is going to be easiest. But
Going across.
Arron, I'm going to get you out of the car now. I'm just going to give you a bit more of that painkiller. All right, buddy? Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So on 3, then I'm going to lift him onto the board. 1, 2, 3.
Finally, after being trapped for 2.5 hours, Arron is lifted from his wrecked car.
The first thing I remember was silence and cold. The windows were smashed on my car, the engine was dead, my music had stopped playing, and there was just no sound at all. And that was really the main memory of the crash.
He's going over to the salvage sheet, guys, okay?
Well, there was a paramedic on scene called Al. Unfortunately, I have so little to remember him by and so much to remember him for.
Head towards the ambulance, so spin him round, spin him round.
I don't remember the trauma of what happened, and I don't feel frightened by what happened or have any flashbacks of what happened. So as much as it annoys me that I don't remember anyone's faces or anything that they did to try and help me, it's a good thing that I haven't got anything bad to look back on.
What do you think about these femurs, Brian? Are we going to put them in a splint or not? Yeah, I mean, that definitely looks gone, doesn't it, the way that is? Yeah. Right, we've got a traction splint.
Once Arron was freed, he looked a lot better than I thought he would do.
Have you got the ketamine?
He's had 220 so far.
He was still heavily sedated, so he was almost unconscious with the amount of ketamine that he had had. But no, it was good to see him out.
Helimed 98, the other Yorkshire Air ambulance, is arriving on scene.
Right, guys, we're down.
Yeah, we're going to head first into the back of this one.
Instead of assisting with an amputation, Brian will be asking duty Dr. David to look after Arron on a flight to Leeds General Infirmary.
The handover is difficult because you're handing over somebody's care who you've been intimately involved in.
You're in the helicopter now, buddy, all right?
But with Arron, I handed him over to one of my colleagues, a HEMS doctor, so I knew that Arron was going to get the best care he could do.
Brief will be to move to the field so I don't go back up over the other aircraft.
Roger, good left and LGI's in the box.
I had a lot of injuries after the crash. I'd shattered my right thigh, which had to be fixed with an iron bar. My left foot, every bone in it was broken. My left lower leg was broken. Broke 2 vertebrae in my spine. I broke my collarbone. I fractured my skull. Fractured my left shoulder. I was in a pretty bad way.
Arron is being flown to the regional trauma centre.
I show some landing checks, please.
The road to recovery was pretty long and pretty rough. I was in Leeds General Infirmary for about a month.
Coming down there now, happy with that.
The lower half of my leg, with my foot attached, had been partially severed.
Okay, let's go.
They made a really big effort to try and save everything they could, but after a couple of days they said, we're going to need to start operating. I made the decision to lose my foot because I was told by a lot of experts that it'd be very specialist for me to have a prosthesis made up for just the lower portion of my foot. I just asked to take the whole thing off so I could start walking about and get back to normal as quickly as I could.
There are 2 tourniquets on his legs, but neither of them are tight. It was just in case we needed to remove his foot.
The fact that they exhausted every single measure, moving huge amounts of metal and bending things and twisting stuff to get me out of that car in one piece rather than operating on the scene, I wouldn't be where I am now because I'm still able to drive a car conventionally. I'm able to walk around with a prosthetic that to the naked eye is not even that visible. And even if it's just with a bit of a limp, that's far better than trying to learn to walk again without the use of a knee, without the use of an ankle. It's a good thing they got me out when they did, really. I was absolutely devastated when I found out about my car. It dawned on me how lucky I was to even get out of it at all. And I kind of thought to myself, if I hadn't have had a car like that, I wouldn't still be here. So it didn't really put me off it. If anything, it just encouraged me to go out and get another one, which I've since named Denny. And I've named that after my granddad because without him, I wouldn't have bought the car that kept me safe in the crash. Well, I'm a bus driver now, exactly the same as I was before. It was always my dream job, and I've since got a specially adapted prosthetic which enables me to drive a manual, which is worth its money in gold in my job.
British don't like talking about the feelings very much, and I think paramedics probably like talking about the feelings even less. But I do feel proud to be part of that team that was able to help Arron out on that day.
The most important thing is for us to know that we made an intervention or done something or changed something that hasn't prevented harm. We've done something that's prevented somebody dying. That's the bit that makes me come to work.
I must have been a horrible day at work for them. They turned up, I put them through some horrible decisions, but they managed to get me out and I'm here today, I'm telling a story. I have a huge amount of respect for the emergency services. You never appreciate it until you've been a victim of needing their assistance. And given that I found out that the air ambulance isn't actually funded, it's all charity, any change that I have, I go into a shop, I see an air ambulance donation box, and all the money goes straight in there now. It's just one of the few ways that I can think of saying thank you to them.